One question that I get a lot is how can I get more traffic to my website? So I just want to talk about that a bit. And I think that walk you through a couple of different things. Online traffic sources. So I'm not talking about if you put a billboard up, um, beside a very busy road, or if you go on, national television or national radio. Those are all amazing things to do, and that could really work well for you if your audience are looking at those things. But I'm just purely talking about online traffic sources and how to get people to your website from kind of different online properties and things. So I'm just going to switch over here and let me just make this bigger here. Okay. So um, this is a graphic that I've been using for a long time in my in-person training courses. And so this is just thinking about where the actual traffic is going to come from. And online, there's a kind of a big split, and that is between search and social. So search engines like Google and Yahoo and Bing and places like that, and even YouTube. A lot of people do searches on YouTube, and then the social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Snapchat, Twitter, all of those. So the question is, where and I get this all the time from people. How can I get more traffic to my website? So the first thing to think about is if you're looking to get more traffic to your website, you're not really looking to get more traffic. That's not the goal. The goal is usually to actually have people take some action. And so, for example, if you're talking about getting more traffic to your website, and let's say I get a whole bunch of traffic to my website, let's say I get 5 or 10 million people to visit my website, you would think that that is probably a really good thing. But if I was to turn around and say, that's 5 or 10 million French teenagers. Now, I don't have anything to sell French teenagers on my website, so I'll almost certainly get no sales from that. They're probably not interested in what I have to say about, things like marketing for consultants. Um, so now maybe there is the off chance that one or two of those, because we're talking about such big numbers, but more than likely, what it's going to really cost me is it's going to cost me extra in terms of website hosting fees because of the big spike of traffic. My website might actually go down if I didn't prepare it for a lot of traffic, and it's going to end up with no sales. And that's because those are not ideal people for me to have visit the website. So that's why I think that thinking about website traffic and using the word traffic is a little bit dangerous, because it tends to make you think of it as kind of large groups of people rather than individuals. So that's the kind of the first thing to think about is, what you really want is you want your ideal customers, your ideal clients, your ideal buyers to visit your website and to take some kind of positive action. That's what you're really talking about here. And so the question then is, okay, so where are they? Where are they hanging around online? What do they care about? And how can you get in front of only those ideal people? So the big split here again, it's between search and social. And if you're looking at social media and you're looking and you see the huge amount of people, like especially right now during the global pandemic, we have lockdown. There's a lot of people on at homes, a lot of people on social media all the time. There's huge amounts of people using all of these networks, like LinkedIn is crazy busy right now. Facebook is crazy busy, and even the newer networks like TikTok. So there's all of these places, and so I think the first thing to think about is social media. When people are on social media, they're in a different headspace than when they're on search hunting mode. They're specifically looking to find something or to get something. Whereas when somebody is on social media, they're browsing. They're walking down Grafton Street or Times Square and kind of looking around. They're in this browsing mode where they're not really looking to find something specific. And when they're in that social kind of browsing mode, They're looking at pictures of their grandkids or their friends' night out, or funny cat videos. And so what you need to do when somebody is on social media and you want to try and get them to visit your website, you've got to do some sort of pattern interrupt. You've got to pique their interest in some way. And that's the hard part. That's the finding out what that is that you can do. What kind of message can you put in front of them that will be interesting enough to do that pattern interrupt, to get them to think about visiting your website and possibly taking some action over there. So on the other side of the equation, people are doing search. They're looking for something very specific. And if you can give them what they're looking for, then they're going to be really interested. If you can supply what they're looking for, and you can get onto search and get your website in front of them, and you actually have what they're looking for, be it information or some sort of product or service, then all you need to do is make it easy for them to buy, make it easy for them to trust you, and make it easy for them to pay. So you basically just need to get out of their way and don't make it difficult. So this is kind of the big difference, and this is why Google is worth so much more than Facebook, is because Google is putting people who are looking for something in touch with people who are selling that thing. And so they're in this kind of middleman position, and they're able to take their cut for doing that. And so when you are advertising on search, it's going to be more expensive than when you're advertising on Facebook. And I think this is why a lot of people are tempted by advertising on Facebook and places like that, is because the numbers look a lot cheaper. But the reason for that is because those visitors are less valuable, because they're not ready to take action necessarily. Some of them will be, laws of large numbers. Some of them will be ready to take action and might be interested. And the more specific you can get with your targeting, the better. But on kind of in general, people coming from search, they're much more in that mode of, we're specifically looking for something. If you can give us that thing, we are strongly likely to actually pay for it now. And that's why ads and traffic on Google are worth so much more and cost so much more. Now, if you can make the numbers work for you in terms of search traffic, um, if you can figure out, what your profit margins are, how much the cost of sale is, what your conversion rates are, you can make those numbers work, and Google search and paid search can work really well. Okay, so that's kind of thinking about where the traffic actually is and where it's going to come from. And you also want to look carefully, particularly on the social side, you want to look carefully at where are my target audience actually hanging out. So maybe they're on Facebook, maybe there's more of them on LinkedIn, or maybe there's more of them on Snapchat, depending on what you sell, what you do. So that's kind of one side of the equation. That's kind of the above the line here. Then the other thing to think about is, what do people do when they get to your website? And the unfortunate fact of the matter is that well over 90% will probably arrive on your website, have a look at it, and leave. And this is kind of heartbreaking when you think about how much time and effort that business owners put into working on marketing and getting people to their website. And so, what can you do to change that number? What can you do to make it more likely for people to stick around? And so, the first thing is, not everybody is ready to buy. So if they're not ready to buy, then what can you do? If you don't offer them anything else other than to buy the products, or make an inquiry, and they're not ready yet, then all they're going to do is leave. So you've got to have some other kind of option, and that's where email opt-in comes in as a really kind of a tempting offer, or something that's really useful as a tool, to have people sign up for some sort of email list. And that's because if they're not ready to buy right now, but they still might be willing to take a smaller step and subscribe for some kind of opt in download. The other thing that you can do, and you see this a lot in consumer, in B2C in particular, is remarketing or retargeting. And that's where you tag somebody so that you can show them ads again later. And this can be really, really effective. You've also got to be careful though with it. You've got to be careful that you don't freak people out, because it can feel like you're stalking them around the internet. because you can say something like, hey, Facebook, show this ad to people who visited this product page, but who did not visit the thank you for purchasing page. And so you are showing an ad to somebody on Facebook, and you know that they have that they're interested in your product, and you can say, hey, we know you're interested in this, but you didn't buy it, so here's a, you know, a 5% discount code if you purchase it today. And you can do that, but it really freaks people out because you know, people are concerned about privacy and things like that, and that can feel, even though it's a kind of a rules-based logic, um it can still freak people out. You also have to be careful not to show the same ad over and over and over again to the same people, because again, that just starts to annoy them. So that's retargeting or remarketing. Um, for consultants and professional services, I really like the email opt in. And I'll talk another day about how to actually get people to opt in, what your offer should be, and about how that can all work. But I just want to give you some thoughts today about, you know, website traffic, where you're going to get people from, and when they arrive, what can you get them to do? So I have these two questions: where are you going to get your traffic from, and what can you do to improve your offer? What can you do to make it easier for people who are not ready to commit to buying, to just get them to stick around? So I hope you found this useful and thought-provoking. If you have any questions, please send them on to me wherever you saw this video, or you can find me on Twitter at What Strategy. You can find my email list at marketingforconsultants.com, and you can connect to me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching.